how can we open up some of these problems we've got and move into that growth opportunity? And then for me, that's when I like to then really bring AI alongside and see where it can help. So that's a really interesting question. I think right at the start, companies really need to maybe take into account what type of organization they are, because no one size fits all with many things in life, never mind AI. So I would very much be talking to companies and senior teams and the people that are running the organization and say, what type of organization are we and what are our priorities? Because that's a really good start point then for then the next step, which in my opinion would then be finding someone or an organization that's got knowledge and expertise in that area around AI adoption, but very much connected to where we are now. So I think for teams, it would be find someone that's coming from that standpoint of what type of an organization are we, what might our priorities be, because the priorities for a company that's been going 12 months and maybe have got a couple of team members is going to be so different from an organization that's maybe got 5, 10,000 people. It's a really, really totally different ball game. I think the biggest trap that leaders fall into is the potential of delegation. I mean, this kind of brings me back to another point that's heavily connected to this, which is what type of an organization are you? Because if it is just you and a couple of people, then you can get very hands-on with AI. Whereas I think, there is a tendency when you're a big organization, maybe you've got departments with skill sets to maybe think AI needs to be handed over to IT and tech. And so I'd say the biggest trap to fall into with AI is thinking that it's for a department to deal with and to be dealt with in silos, where for me, it's very much a core part of business. It has the potential to sit in many different positions within the organization, because we've got many different types of workflows, from marketing and sales to, acquiring customers, right the way through to the way the actual business model operates. So I would say get hands on, understand it, and then very much align it to where the business is going in terms of strategy. So that's a great question, because business growth is what businesses actually should be all about. I mean, I have got this very interesting talk where we actually explore what a business is actually meant to be doing. How do you know when you're succeeding in business? A great analogy is we know when we're succeeding in sport because there's rules, there's points, and it's really nice and clear. And when I meet with business owners and business leaders and I say, what is your goal? What is the purpose of your business? You can get many, many different answers. But for me, it's really nice and clear, and it's about gross profit. Businesses grow on gross profit. And so therefore it's about how can we provide great value? How can we be profitable so that all the stakeholders win? And I think when you kind of understand that and you come from that perspective, then it very much becomes what's our constraint to growth? How can we open up some of these problems we've got and move into that growth opportunity? And then for me, that's when I like to then really bring AI alongside and see where it can help leverage those opportunities. So that's a great point. So for me, it's embracing the fact that AI is here, embracing that it's affecting all of our technology, being inspired and excited to use it, not being afraid. And a really great metaphor I like to use for this is just think of it, it's a big, huge wave, it's a big change. And I think the way that we look at life in general, we can turn changes in our lives into opportunities or challenges. So for me, it's this big wave's coming. It's here. We're all within it, and you can either get wiped out and you can talk about the problems it's bringing, or you can actually face it head on, pick up your surfboard, and you can kind of ride it and enjoy it. I think that our minds are very much like parachutes. I think they work when they're open. So I think if we can be open-minded, hands-on, and very much from a business perspective, think about the effect it's having on what you do in your organization. And one last point on that as well is I would also like just to point out that for some people, AI is not an important part of their world, and that's fine. There is something called IPL, which is referred to as in person live, and there is such value on human connection, and us just meeting together and socializing together, that it's also important to recognize that sometimes it is good to just say AI is not right for this, and understanding that difference. But where it is relevant, which even if your business is an in-person live business at its business model, for example, if you run festivals, if you run concerts, well, that's very much in-person live, where you've got the singer, the performer, and you've got the audience. But yet you could use AI to target and to market and to sell tickets. So I think it's just recognizing there's a place for it, but let's get excited.